Hello.
Hi,
You made it.
Lindsay. I was having some technical issues, but I made it. How are you? How's everyone?
Great. I think we're doing great here. We have about 50 friends here on today, which is so
Oh,
exciting.
that's so
Um,
exciting.
I know I love seeing all their names and their like majors and where they're from. It's fantastic. And yeah, I was just telling them slow is beautiful today. So it's been a great day.
Oh, wonderful.
And if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Christina. I'm an academic advisor in the Mustang Success Center. I use she, her pronouns. And what it means to be an academic advisor is that I'm happy to chat with you about all of your academic related questions. I know Lindsay mentioned we're going to be talking about transfer credit, including advanced placement, international baccalaureate, college classes. So we're going to talk about that.
Beautiful. Well, if you want to kind of get started about what the Mustang Success Center is, I remember using it. One of my favorite things when I was definitely a first and second year. So if you want to kind of give them some background.
Perfect. So the Mustang Success Center is an advising center for all of our first year students. And when we say first year, we mean freshmen, right? And so our transfer students will go to their college advising center or the transfer success center. And Heather will be here, I think around 6:30
Yeah,
to chat with our new incoming transfer students. So for our first year students or freshmen, we like to call you first years. You're going to be utilizing the Mustang Success Center for advising.
absolutely. And does
Yeah.
that look more classes, career, kind of what kind of advising?
Perfect. Thanks for that, Lindsay. Yeah, so this looks like your classes. So any kind of transfer credit, classes that you're enrolling in for future quarters. Maybe you're thinking about changing majors or adding a minor. Anything that is related to your classes and academics.
Right. One thing actually we get a lot of questions on when you're blocked into a schedule. I know a lot of students are always like, how do I get my classes? But I think the way Cal Poly does it when you first come in, where they, I'll let you explain it, but I think block scheduling is fantastic for first years.
Yeah, it is awesome. So, as a new first year student, there is a lot to take in, a lot of information. Trying to figure out what classes you need and how to register for them is so hard. So we do that for you. We call your fall schedule your block schedule. And so you're just automatically enrolled in classes for the fall quarter. You don't even have to worry about what do I need. We give you the exact classes that you need towards your major.
I remember I like got a full class set. It was fantastic. Um, so what are some of like the most common questions you get in the Mustang Success Center?
Yeah, so we get all kind of different questions about transfer credit, changing major, what classes should I take next quarter? Where should I go for this, right? As a new student at Cal Poly, there are so many different resources and sometimes you just don't know where to go. And that is certainly something that we can help with as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's so I can anyone listening right now, Mustang Success Center, fantastic. I would say one of the biggest questions we get on our tours is what changing your major looks like. Could you walk us through that process?
Yeah, absolutely. So for changing majors at Cal Poly, you do have to have 1 quarter's worth of credit under your belt. So during the fall quarter, that's such a great time to do some research about what other major might I be interested in. Some students, just think, well, I really like being a math major, but I don't know what to do with it, right? And so that's another aspect of about exploring change of major, looking into some different resources, attending a change of major workshop to learn about the actual steps for changing major. Those are all things that we can do during the fall quarter. And what ultimately why we're not doing anything in the fall quarter is a part of the changing major process is looking at your grades from your first
Right.
quarter at Cal Poly. So we have to finish out that first quarter with grades as best as we can possibly do to be eligible to be able to change majors.
Absolutely. And there is that kind of how hard is it? Is it impossible? Am I going to be stuck? Do you want to try to address that? that myth, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definite. I hear that so much. I'm sure you hear that too, Lindsay, especially on your tours.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, absolutely. I mean, changing major is not impossible. There is a process, there are steps to go through, right? And there's some criteria. So departments want to know how your GPA is coming along. Sometimes you need to have really competitive GPA. So you got to study and do well academically. The other thing they want to know is, can you still graduate in a reasonable amount of time? So looking at that process as early as possible is always a good idea.
Right.
And then, of course, the last criteria that departments look at, sometimes and not all the time, but would you have been eligible to be admitted under that major when you had first applied? So there's a couple of criteria there that departments will use, but ultimately all you got to do is come in here and do your best starting off in fall quarter and get that research under your belt as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. I believe, what is it, 30% of our students change their major? Yes.
Yeah, right around there, about 32-ish%. Yep.
I was close. It was close.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll round down for you, Lindsay.
Thank you. Thank you. Also, I do see some of your questions, but I do want to ask really quickly before we start answering some of y'all's questions. Looking at IB, AP test scores, if you want to kind of talk about how
Yeah.
those work with Cal Poly, and then I have a follow-up question for you.
Absolutely. So when we're talking, and I know we've talked about this kind of transfer credit before, right? And when we're talking about transfer credit, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about credit that you're getting coming from outside of Cal Poly, so advanced placement exams. And when we talk about advanced placement, we're talking about exams,
Right.
right? Not
Right.
the classes themselves. So it has to be the actual exam with a score of 3, 4, or 5
Okay.
for credit. And then the second type of exam is International Baccalaureate, right? And those are the exams from International Baccalaureate. And to get Cal Poly credit, we take the higher level exam. Standard levels don't count for Cal Poly credit.
Okay.
Higher level exams with a score of 5, 6, or 7. And I know that Lindsay mentioned this earlier, but the deadline to get those scores in is
July 15th.
July 15th, yeah.
You don't want to get that wrong.
Everybody write that down. Yeah, absolutely. What was your follow-up, Lindsay, before I
My
move on
follow-up
there?
question is, in your opinion, for all of the students who are looking to apply, things like that, do you have any advantages of taking these classes or any disadvantages of not taking these classes, things like that? Like, in your opinion, what's kind of the situation with taking them?
Yeah, we're talking specifically kind of about AP and IB and college
Yeah.
classes. Yeah, absolutely. So there's certainly no harm in taking classes, right? It definitely makes you a better student. It prepares you a lot better
Right.
for coming to the university and dealing with the academic rigor of college classes, right? They're definitely a little bit harder than what you might be used to. Some of you may go to super competitive schools where you're used to it already, but it's definitely very challenging here in Cal Poly. And so the advantages of taking this credit, if you have access to be able to do that, is that you essentially can potentially get ahead
Right.
in some of the requirements for your major, right? So each one of your majors has different course requirements that are required, general education requirements that are classes outside of your major, but give you that breadth of knowledge, right? And a lot of our AP and IB exams give credit for some of those requirements. So you get to a little bit ahead as you start here at Cal Poly.
Right. And I know that for some students, when they have a really full course load and they're able to actually get some of those classes done before they even get to Cal Poly, that opens up room for, if you want to take some fun, like just extra classes. Like, if you want to take beekeeping, you can take beekeeping. If you want to pick up a minor, you can pick up a minor where you may not have normally had as much room. It kind of gives you more flexibility.
Totally.
Oh, a great question in the chat.
Yeah.
What is the advantage of the quarter system?
Oh, yeah. What is super exciting, I think, about the quarter system is that it is definitely fast paced. That's fun. I love working at a fast pace. The other great thing about it is you get into a class and you really on the quarter system have 10 weeks compared to the semester system where you have 15 weeks, right? And so you get to move through material pretty quickly. It's fun. It's engaging. You have faculty members that you actually will have 3 faculty members in a year, and be able to build those relationships, make those connections, versus on a semester system, you might only have 2 faculty members for a particular,
Sure.
chain of classes or sequence of classes
Right.
in any given year. And you get to make a lot more relationships, which may sound a little bit scary right now, but the advantages of having those relationships are you get to know about their research, you get research opportunities, you can talk to them about internships and internship opportunities. Someday you're going to need a letter of reference from a faculty member for that internship or for that job, and you'll have a great number of faculty to choose from for that.
Right. And as a student taking the quarter system, things move fast. You hop in week 1. We don't really have like I don't know, I've heard of like a syllabus week where people kind of just relax for the first week. Cal Poly, not as much because
syllabus day.
Yeah, syllabus day, syllabus hour maybe. But then you're hopping into midterms, and you're hopping into your mid-quarter check-in, and it all happens really fast. But like she said, you get to meet all these professors, and you get to just take so many more classes that you may not have the opportunity to on a semester system. So 10 out of 10 recommend quarter system. I love it. Can you get credit for an AP class that is not related to your major at all?
That is such a great question. Probably. It depends on your major. And this is kind of a Cal Poly kind of answer, but it depends, right? So to find out the specific details about I feel like this is a super common question we got, Lindsay, is what am I going to get credit for? Like I took these exams and how is this going to apply to my major, right? And so the way to figure that out, actually, if you have access to going online right now, go to advising.calpoly.edu, so advising.calpoly.edu. And at the top of that page, you're going to see some tabs. One of the tabs says curriculum and flowcharts, or maybe the other way around, flowcharts and curriculum.
I love that website.
Yeah, it's awesome. And if you click there, it's going to bring you to information about the required that in the chat. I love that. So you're going to fill in the 3 different drop downs there. So first is catalog year. You're going to put in 21, 22. The second drop down is selecting your major. So go ahead and put your major in right there. And then the third one says concentration. We have to pick something there. So I think at this point, the only option is not eligible or not applicable maybe. And that will change in the future. But for right now, we're going to choose not applicable. And then once you fill those in, you're going to get 2 buttons that pop up at the bottom. One that says flowchart, one that says curriculum sheet. For now, go ahead and click on curriculum sheet. And we'll come back to that. But go back to advising. So new tab. College students always have 70,000 tabs open, right? A new tab, advising.calpoly.edu.
Like you should see
One more time, advising.
Go
for it.
I have 10,000 tabs just for my senior project alone. It's incredible.
It's true. And keeping track, you're like, not that one, not that one. So back to advising.calpoly.edu, advising.calpoly.edu. And now this time over on the right, you're going to see a link under, I think it says student academic. I should have pulled this up in my background. Student academic resources. And there will be a link on the right that says AP/IB credit. Click there. And that's going to take you to our Advanced Placement International Baccalaureate matrices or grids that show you the credit that you get from your scores. So just know when you get there, Cal Poly awards credit for your AP exam or your IB exam based on the year that you took it. So if you took AP exams in your sophomore year, your junior year, and you're going to take them this year in your senior year, you may have to click on multiple matrices, right, to see all of the credit for those. I don't know if you've ever seen those matrices, Lindsay. They get a little confusing, though.
I haven't seen the matrices, but I live for the flowchart and curriculum sheet that you brought up. I also recommend that if you are a student who's looking to hopefully commit to Cal Poly soon, if you're kind of wanting to see what classes you're in for, once you get here, check out the flowchart, check out the curriculum sheet. Um, and that's honestly, that's how I decided like my major, was looking at that. And so definitely check that out. And that's just flowcharts at .calpoly.edu.
Yep. Or you can access it through advising, my
Yes.
favorite website. No. Yeah, absolutely. If those matrices feel confusing, feel free to email us success@calpoly.edu and we'll help try and decode what those are saying, right? So ultimately, you're looking for the exam you took, the score you got, and then the credit. And in the far, far right column, there will be an indicator if it fulfills a general education or GE. It's going to be listed there as GE, a GE requirement. And you can compare that to your curriculum sheet and see what applies. If you have a printer handy, hot tip, I would print that curriculum sheet, print that flow chart, X off all the things you may already have credit for from AP. That helps you understand how far ahead you may be.
It's a ton of great resources for you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking. Okay, so I see there's some questions. What is the process like to add a minor?
Oh, yeah. Minors are so great. We actually have 89 different minor options here at Cal Poly, which can sound a little overwhelming. So advisors are happy to help you narrow that down. Or if it's something you're interested in for career, one of our awesome career counselors can help you narrow down the options specifically for your career choice. But adding a minor, the kind of the basic answer for every minor is that you'll meet with a faculty member or professor who is called the minor advisor. That person's in charge of that minor. You'll talk with them about why you're interested in pursuing the minor, what your goals are, what you hope to achieve. And then they'll have you sign a minor application form. The minor application form goes up to the registrar's office who add it to your official record, and then you're officially in the minor. It's a super easy process for the most part. Now, we do have a couple of minors that are a little competitive and have additional things they want you to do, right? Like take some classes before you declare. But again, advisors are happy to help walk you through what that process looks like for each individual minor.
Absolutely. I am a psychology minor. Absolutely love it. 10 out of 10 would recommend. And the hardest part of getting that minor was just trying to find each person's like office on campus. And that was the hardest part of it. But everyone was so willing to just sit down and I don't know, really, they want to see you succeed and they want to help you get that opportunity. So definitely check out a minor when you get here. Oh, a great question is, as an admitted student, when will we first be able to meet with an academic counselor?
Yeah. So all new students are going to meet with the academic advising team from the Mustang Success Center during slow days. So that's our orientation that occurs over summer. And we're going to talk a lot more at that point about what credit you got from your AP, IB, and even college classes. So some of you may have taken classes either through dual enrollment or maybe over summer. From a different university or community college. We'll talk about what that looks like. We'll also talk about block schedules, as we were talking about a little bit ago, and preparing for your fall schedule. But that doesn't mean you can't contact us now if you have questions. You can always email us success@calpoly.edu, and we are totally happy to answer any questions that you have right now.
Also, Quincy_12. We will be getting to transfer information here at 6:30, so stick around for some exciting stuff. Is slow days in person? I defer that to you.
So right now, this is the plan. And again, because we are in a pandemic, who knows, right? Ultimately, what will happen? Well, public health is who's to say. But,
well, right. Yes,
but ultimately, right now, the plan is for the slow day sessions that are earlier in the summer, those will be held virtually. And the slow day sessions that are offered closer to the beginning of the fall quarter are planned to be offered in person at this time. Now, if we get word from public health that we can go ahead and offer more in person, we probably will. And if we get word from public health that we have to dial back those in-person ones, then that's what we'll have to do. We want to keep you safe, right? That's the utmost priority. So right now, I would say half and half, half virtual, half in person.
which is very exciting. 100%. Let's see. Okay. Oh, a lot of these are okay. Oh, here's one. If your major doesn't have any free electives, parentheses engineering, but
Uh-huh.
they do have D electives that you can you use a push, AP US history,
Mm-hmm.
as a D elective?
Yeah, that's a super complicated question, actually, because this part of AP US history applies to GE Area D1. And D1 is a super complicated state law. I won't even get into it, except to tell you that you need three areas of knowledge to complete D1. One is AP US history, which you can get from AP APUSH, right? The second one is US government, which you can get from the AP government exam. But the third component is California government. And AP is nationwide. They don't care about us here in California, right? Only we care about us. So that part we would have to complete as a course if you completed the other two. If you only took one, right, AP US history or AP US government, those would count as free electives. So unfortunately, engineering folks, uh, yes, with the 0 units of free electives, those would not count toward that particular degree.
Engineering, you have a lot of fun classes ahead of you.
Yeah.
It's great. Um, I see a question about community college credits transferring to Cal Poly. If you are transferring as a third year, we will have the transfer center
Yeah.
coming on in just 5 minutes. But if you're in high school, and
Mm-hmm.
you do like, well, I forget what the program is called, but basically where you're taking college credits when you're in high school, how do
Yeah.
those kind of line up?
Yes, you can totally do that. And if you've already taken college classes, whether that's community college or university, whether that's in California or out of state or international, you can absolutely send transcripts from that institution to Cal Poly. And those will get added onto your record as the appropriate credit. That goes through our registrar's office. And they award that credit before they start block scheduling you into classes, right? So we need to send AP exams, IB exam, and college transcripts by July
July
15th.
15th.
Put it in your planner, folks, by July 15th, to make sure that all of that gets taken into account for your block schedule, right?
Yes.
If for some reason you miss the deadline, don't panic. You can still send those in late. We don't want you to, because what happens is you may get block scheduled into something you already have credit for, and then you need to take the steps to make changes to that schedule. So be sure to hit that deadline, July 15th. That way you don't have to take those extra steps to make changes to your schedule.
I do see there are two questions that there's one that I want to address really quickly, where it says, your first year at Cal Poly, are we taking our basic classes or do we have to take our major classes? Upside down curriculum. You are taking your major classes the second you get to Cal Poly. It is one of the most unique things and one of the best parts of our education. If you're an engineer, you get to start welding your first day here. Whatever your major is, you're right there in your journalism classes, your graphic communications, your business classes. It's incredible. So to answer a question, yeah, we're unique and special, and you get to learn so much right when you walk in. But this is a question for you. Is it required to turn in all of your AP scores?
Yes. Turn in all of your AP scores. If you didn't get a high enough score or it doesn't count to your degree, there's no harm in that, right? But just make sure that you send any kind of credit, right? Whether that's advanced placement, international baccalaureate, college credit, make sure that you definitely do go ahead and send those in. You may be surprised. There may be something that you actually get credit for. You might get here and say, oh my gosh, I might want to change majors, and your new major accepts that transfer credit. You may add a minor that accepts that transfer credit. So I think it is always a good idea to send everything that you have. And just to be clear, we can't use your high school transcript to award college credit. So even if your AP exams show up on your high school transcript, you have to send those exam scores separately and your college transcript separately directly from that college.
And the last question I will have you answer is someone who got accepted to Cal Poly but hasn't accepted their offer yet. Also, congratulations. Does your course registration deadline change the longer you hold off?
No, definitely not. So all of our first year students will get new incoming students for fall will get a block schedule, regardless of holding off on admissions decisions. But definitely need your admissions decision by May
July
1.
15th.
Oh,
Oh,
July
May 1st.
5th.
Oh, no, no, oh, no, no. May 1st. Sorry.
There's so
It's
many
my
dates. Let's say it again just to make sure everybody is cool, right? So admission decision by
May 1st.
May 1, transcripts by
July 15th.
perfect. See, it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay. College is full of mistakes, but we get by, right?
Do we? Yeah. um, so, yes, May 1st is your decision deadline. May 1st, May 1st, May 1st, May 1st. But I know we are hopping over to the transfer center soon, but if anyone has any final questions for Christina, go ahead. Oh, where do we send scores? Is a good one.
So you're sending all of your scores to Cal Poly admissions, right? So straight to the admissions office.
Yeah.
And then those will get automatically routed wherever they need to go. You just send what you need to admissions.
Yes, perfect. Well, Christina, I cannot thank you enough for joining us today. Everyone, I know they appreciate your wisdom and knowledge so much, and it was wonderful having you on today. We are going to bring in Heather for the transfer center if it works. I believe.
Awesome. Well,
Oh, wow, all three of
hey,
us.
Hi, Christina.
Also, May 1st, everyone.
Yes,
By May
exactly.
1st.
I heard Christina and I was like, there's so many dates. She's right. But that's why we are here. The MSC or the transfer center. There's no silly questions in our book.
So before I let myself go, I guess that's weird. Before I go, just a reminder, if we didn't get to your question and you are a new first year student, please email us at success@calpoly.edu. We are here to answer your questions. Congratulations, everybody, on your acceptance. We're so excited. And thanks so much, Lindsay, for hosting. Bye,
Absolutely. It was great having you.
everyone.
Bye, Christina. Hi.
Hello. You're back. Hello.
I'm
So
back.
good to
Round
see you.
2. It's me and, as always, the cat.
Okay.
Tuck's braving the heat that we have here in SLO. But I told him you gotta wake up.
You know, I mean, it's if you ate dinner, then it's nap time, you know?
Exactly. I mean, for cats, it's kind of nap time all the time. But
that is true. That is true. Not for college students.
yeah.
Oh, we are getting a ton of questions for you. Let's see. Well, one, do you want to introduce yourself? That's the first.
Yeah. Hi,
step.
folks. I'm Heather. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the coordinator at Cal Poly's Transfer Center, which I think Erin so nicely will put in the link to our website. But we are a resource for students on campus. And what that means is we are here for 3 key areas. Resources, be that ones that we create or ones that we connect you with across campus. Community for transfers, and then advocacy and awareness. So if you find a policy or a practice or something isn't working or it feels like a roadblock, then we are here to navigate, trying to advocate for that, both through my role, our transfer student advisory council, the staff that work in the transfer center, and beyond. So we are so excited to be here. And again, I will just start mine by building off of what Christina shared, which is any questions we don't get to will be answered through transfer@calpoly.edu. I am the person behind the email. Christina is one of the folks behind that Mustang success email. And we will get to every last email to get you your questions.
Well, welcome. Thank you so much. And please, go ahead and ask us any questions. in the chat, things like that you guys may
So
have.
maybe what I can start off with is just, I saw a couple questions, but a little bit of overview of where we are timeline-wise for transfers.
Beautiful.
If you think that would be helpful, and then, you know, monitor
Absolutely.
those questions. So for transfers, like if you were on earlier, your official transcripts are due no later than July 15th, and that deadline is so important because what's going to happen on July 15th, ideally it actually starts happening as soon as you get your final transcripts in. I want to make a note, it really has to be the official. So if you are in classes this spring, wait until your grades post before you send that transcript over, because we need all those courses that you said that you were going to complete. You got to make sure you completed them. That's why you might have seen this concept of conditional acceptance. It's like, what does that mean? There's a great video on the admissions YouTube that talks about that, but what for transfers, what that really focuses on is, did you get those classes done, right? Are you in junior standing at a minimum? Did you get those lower division GEs? And did you get the classes done for your major so that you can be ready to go in the fall? So July 15th, by then you send your transcript. Starting July 16th, you're going to be put into a Canvas, which is our online module pre-orientation shell. And that is created to you specifically by your college to help you start learning our tools on how to register and what to register for. You'll take that course and complete it. It'll fall off your admissions to-do list, which you're hopefully already seeing all those things on your admissions to-do list. And then you'll come to Slow Days, which for transfers is going to be virtual on August 12th or 13th. Those Slow Days is when you get to meet with your academic advising center. You get to practice those tools again, and you get to figure out what you're going to register for, because registration is on August 16th, which is a Monday. You're going to register in the morning. There's a big thing that students will say, well, it looks like all the classes are full. The colleges save seats for incoming transfers that open that Monday for you to take. And that's why it's really important to register that day, because 3 days later, second round registration opens up for all of campus and those seats go away. And so you really want to have that May 16th date. I did see some questions about when can I talk to an academic advisor. So right now, unfortunately, it feels hard because it's the waiting period. And the reason you're in the waiting period with academic advising is because they need to see your final transcript. Evaluations goes through and says, okay, this class counts for this class, this counts for this class. And the reason why, if you get it, your final transcript to Cal Poly by July 15th, they guarantee that all of your classes will be checked and what we call matriculated by the time you register. So you know that you're not registering for a class that you already took, and also that you have the prerequisites that you need to be able to register for classes. And so you'll hear from your academic advisors in that Canvas shell. You'll meet them at Slow Days, and then after Slow Days is when you can start doing drop-ins with them, and that's when you can plan. You know, I saw someone ask about, I want to make sure I graduate in 2 years. We would love to make sure you graduate in the most efficient time possible, and your advisors can meet with you for that between Slow Days and WOW, and they can also do all of that virtually. You don't have to be in person. And so again, you'll be able to kind of look at the tools after you become an official student on the 15th of July. And then in August, you'll be able to meet with your academic advisors. If you have questions between now and July 15th, like, oh, this transcript issue, admissions is your go-to. They're the ones who can access your file. They're the ones who can make sure your transcripts were received. My office is happy to talk to you about the general process like we are right now, but I am not able to look at your classes. I'm not an advisor or an evaluator. Right. So some folks have asked about Assist and also how to, so Assist is the only program where you can look at classes that you've taken on, in California to say, okay, this class counts for this. Now, something to know is if you're coming from out of state or from a 4-year, the class needs to match 75% or more. So what you can do is look at the position description or the description of the course and the description of the course that you took, and then, you know, make an estimated guess. actually our evaluators will say the best resource for that is your current college. So current community colleges are really great at reviewing curriculum. They're actually the ones who, if they think it should be in assist and it's not, can actually email Cal Poly Evaluations and get it put into assist. But they're going to be the best advocates on how to know what classes count for what. You can talk with admissions and they'll do the best they can, but really your current college's academic advisors are going to be your best resource. Again, our academic advisors aren't evaluators. Evaluators decide what class counts for what. Academic advisors can give you advising on, okay, you've taken these classes, these are the next ones to take, this is your best graduation plan.
Right.
Um,
There's a question in the question bubble. Is it possible to transfer as a college junior going into senior year?
You can transfer as long as you have a minimum of 90 credits. So that's junior standing, 90 quarter unit credits, 60 semester unit credits. You can have more than that. I think the thing to know is, upper division classes. And so if you're coming from a community college, you probably haven't taken any upper division classes. If you're coming from another school, then maybe you have taken more upper division classes. So that's kind of what it comes down to. We don't have like a maximum units you can bring over. We just have a minimum number that you need to have. WOW and slow days are for incoming first year freshmen as well as new transfers, but it is tailored to both of those populations. So again, transfer slow days is going to be working on your registration, because Christina talked about a block schedule. Transfers don't get a block schedule. You're going to register for your classes. Again, seats have been saved, but you get to choose the best timing for you. Right. And then WOW, both of them are focused on community building, but for transfers, you all are not required. And most transfers this year won't be living on campus because of our housing numbers. And so you will be getting to build transfer community. You'll get more time with your advisors. You'll get time to connect with faculty. And then you'll also do some similar community building events.
Right. And I was a WOW leader, and there are specialty WOW leaders, and you have like your own group just for transfers. Like, you will not be necessarily mixed in with the freshmen, so you're able to really have your own experience with other people who are,
different points in our life. Different points in our life. And the big thing we also focus on in WOW and in the first couple of weeks is that transition to the quarter system. We know a lot of transfers are coming from a semester school, and we are on the quarter system at Cal Poly. So we've got transfer academic we got transfer academic coaches to help with that. We do have housing for transfers on campus, but there's a limited number of beds. You can get on the housing interest list if you are interested in hoping. That's kind of their equivalent to a wait list, but not really. You can read more about what it means to be on the interest list online. But there's limited numbers with our COVID bubbles. COVID numbers, we can't be at full capacity on campus. But we are doing a lot. Again, that's where the transfer center comes in. We do a lot of community building for transfers living off campus to connect you all. We have a great resource on campus in the building 52. We've got a microwave. We've got a fridge. So if you are commuting and you're going to be on campus, you need a place to go between classes, we will be one of hopefully the spots that you come. And building 52, for folks who haven't seen our campus, is right next to the University Union, near the Science Building, so pretty centrally located. Near a Starbucks if that's your thing, or a Jamba Juice if that's your thing. Froyo, kind of choose what speaks to you on that. And so
you're in a good spot. I do have to say that is some nice real estate you got.
I did see someone ask about if you're taking summer classes at your community college. When can we have that transferred over? So you'll have to have an official grade to get that transferred over. And again, anything that's received after July 15th is not guaranteed to be turned around by the time you register. If for some reason you're a transfer on this call and you haven't completed by July 15th with a grade, one of those required courses, you need to start talking to admissions now, because that's where that conditional admittance comes in. Yes, there is transfer specific housing in Cerro Vista. It's a transfer living learning community. Again, it's going to be pretty small this year, but it does, they do put transfers together, and there are transfer specific RAs. Did I miss anything else? Were there other things we were going to talk about? I know you gave me a big list of things. So,
we are currently just taking questions, but I would say, is there any like myths or things out there that you want to kind of address about transfers at Cal Poly?
Oh, that is a big question. That is a big question. I would say for where transfers are at right now, one is just to know that there are a lot of resources on how to transition to the quarter system. You'll hear that tends to be a really big intimidating stressor, and that's why we have transfer academic coaches. You could actually meet with them. Erin hopefully can drop that specific link in the chat from our website. You can meet with Z or Eric now, and they can talk to you about their transition to the quarter system. We have resources throughout the school year. We're going to be doing a partnership with the library to hope to have library study sessions that you all can come to. And then, for finding community, there are a variety of ways to get involved. There's internships that you can look for. There's research opportunities. There's on-campus jobs. And so we'll be talking more about those in WOW. And we'll also be doing some sessions. We have one of our transfer student assistants, Kaylee. She will be running our drop-ins this summer on Zoom. We'll be open 12 to 1, and then one evening a week. We haven't decided what night that we'll have late night hours. And she transferred to Cal Poly from a mixture of UC Santa Barbara and Cuesta. And so she is happy to talk about kind of multiple institutions you might be coming from and how you can get support in that. I've seen a couple questions about off-campus housing. So there is a off-campus housing support falls under housing. I think Erin can find the link to the off-campus housing resource website page and drop that in the chat. And then Facebook is where I hear most students get their roommates. There's a Cal Poly roommates and housemates Facebook page that has a lot of traction on it. And then we are hoping to do an Instagram live with housing to talk about how to find a roommate. I would suggest anyone on this call who's feeling like, oh gosh, how am I going to find housing? You can go to our Instagram at CPSO Transfers. Follow us. We won't follow you back is my shameless plug. And look at our IGTV. And in the IGTV, you'll see a recent recording of a transfer dialogue that Francisco, another transfer student in our center, did on tips to find housing. And there was a lot of great questions that came through in the chat that he answered. So you're welcome to go listen to that as well.
Yes. I cannot tell you enough if you do not have a Facebook. I know we thought it ended in like 2006, but get a Facebook. There are so many great housing pages. I believe there's one for transfers. There is one for class of whatever class you're going to be a part of. I think there's a class of 2025 now, which is kind of blowing my mind. So get a Facebook and definitely check it out. I see a question. If I submit my community college transcripts I did during high school before the deadline, can I see what applied sooner? Erin, thank you for answering that. Thank you. If y'all have any other questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. But Heather, is there anything you want to add?
I mean, keynotes, right? There's no block schedule for transfers. You all will register yourself, but there are reserved seats. Look on in your portal July 16th for that Canvas course so that you can take it. It's pretty short. It's not going to take more than an hour or two to go through, but it's going to have a lot of time to practice the tools that are used for registering at Cal Poly. Slow days. Again, we are here for Zoom drop-in. Remember, if we can't answer your question, we're going to find and connect you to who it is. And then if we can't find it still, we will find it and get back to you. That is our guarantee.
Sorry, I've been monitoring the chat, so you totally
You're totally fine.
To make sure, because I know that some students, when they're looking to transfer to Cal Poly, taking the correct classes, where can they double check that the classes they're taking at like their community college or their JC will be the right classes for their transferring to the Cal Poly level?
So assist is going to be the best thing. What you can do is you can look up the curriculum sheet. And Erin, maybe you can also go, that's a fun one, the flowchart/curriculum sheet for your major to look at what courses are required. But really what we stick with is the desired and required courses on the admissions page, which you all probably saw when you were applying, and then those lower division GEs. But if you really wanted to get fancy, you could look at the curriculum sheet. Yes. Be prepared. They're a little overwhelming, hence why we go over them in our orientation shell on Canvas, and you can kind of compare that way.
Absolutely.
Financial aid, great question. Financial aid, you can call our financial aid office or email them. They also have a great YouTube video that they just released on how to read your financial aid profile portal. But they actually were at our open house event that we did 2 weekends ago, and their big takeaway was like, we want you to ask your questions now. They also talked about, we know that your FAFSA was based off of the 2019 year, and there has been a lot of changes in COVID. And so they can also talk to you about the form to fill out if you need to, what they call readjust your financial aid based off of an updated income. And they have that sheet and they can talk you through that. They also are very well versed in resources and support for undocumented students. So please do not hesitate to reach out. They want to get your questions answered. Great question. Business college wants you to declare the concentration. You do not have to declare your concentration until the minimum at the end, the earliest at the end of your fall quarter. And so,
but you cannot do general business.
Correct. You cannot do general business. You have to have a concentration, but they will explore your concentrations more. Transfers are actually called Business 206, and that they'll talk a lot more about like the different concentrations and which one you might want to consider. So that's not something you have to worry about declaring yet. And they have resources for that. Also, any business or OCOBs, or Fairleigh College of Business transfers, check out Transformations, which is an OCOB specific transfer support group.
Yeah, OCOB has so many great resources. So if you're interested in business, go for it. It's a
housing application without a roommate does not at all change your application. Many people just apply and get a random roommate. I saw that Erin put that in there, but
well, it's oh boy. Sorry, there's so many.
There are. We're having lots of great chats. Again, transfer@calpoly.edu. I literally am the person behind the email, and I check it all the time. And so there is a human back there, and we want to support you and help you. You can also DM us. I'm not going to respond to you at 1 a.m. because I'm sleeping and not on my phone, but we will get back to you during business hours if you DM us through Instagram. We want to have the fewest barriers between your answers and your questions.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it for, how to submit our AP scores again. Send them to admissions at Cal Poly. Yes? By July 15th.
Correct.
By July 15th. But commit. Your decision deadline is May 1st.
May 1st.
Yep, not going to mix that one up again.
And I always tell folks, if you have questions for admissions, call them. Email works, but they have a lot of emails to filter through, and you would rather them see your email with your scores and then call them with your questions. Is there a certain deadline for transcripts? Yes, July 15th.
July 15th.
2 fun dates out there. May 1st to commit, July 15th.
Yes.
What?
And for anyone hopping on now, definitely check out this video. Will be uploaded on our YouTube and our Instagram Live TV. So you can get all this great information all over again.
I did see someone asked about cafes, 2-year live-on requirement. So housing and the admissions website has more information about this, but Cal Poly is moving to a required 2-year live-on requirement for first-time first-year students. So not related to transfers, that all second-year traditional, I don't like that word because there's no more traditional college student, but first-time freshmen. And there are 2 colleges this year that are requiring it. Then there'll be 4 next year, and then 6th year after that. So it is part of that rollout process.
Absolutely. Well,
for transfers, you are not required to live on, nor, unfortunately, is there enough beds for you to live on. But that's why that off-campus housing resource guide is going to be your friend, as well as emailing us if you have questions.
Yes, and housing in the city of SLO is fantastic. So
yeah,
definitely check it out.
And your bus pass is, your ID counts as your bus pass. So you can ride the bus for free to get to campus, which is really nice. And yes, there will be more every Monday at 6. Missions is on here. And then we also do a variety of Instagram lives. Feel free to join any transfers on Friday. Francisco will be hanging out at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. And then we're around. Thanks for hanging out.
Tomorrow, admissions will be doing a Q&A poll on our story. So go ahead and submit any questions that you may have there as well on our poll tomorrow for our story. So check it out. But I think that is all from us for today. Heather, thank you so much for
You're welcome. It was great to see you again.
It's so good to see you. And if y'all missed any of this, it again will be uploaded on our YouTube page and our Instagram Live. So everyone, congratulations again for everyone who's making their decision to go for what university they are choosing. And we hope to see you here at Cal Poly soon. But everyone have a great week. Stay safe, healthy, and happy. And we'll see you next.
Hey there, my name is Rafael. I'm a 4th-year journalism transfer student with a minor in Spanish, and my pronouns are he, him, his. Thank you for watching the video. Please share any questions or comments you have down below in the comment section, and go ahead and click here to subscribe. And to watch more videos, click here. If you want to sign up for a virtual visit or talk to any student or staff members, check out our website. Link in the description. Thank you for watching.